Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today we're looking at some new decks from the newest expansion, which was just released in Japan, Battle Partners, which is the expansion that introduces trainers Pokemon. Today we're just taking a quick look at the Hops deck, the deck that I thought was going to be the best, potentially best new deck. And yeah, I guess this is also post-rotation. Oh, that's not a card. That's an older, right? Yeah, I don't see any pure rotation cards here. And we've seen a bunch of like surprisingly a lot of new lists from the new lists, including these new cards, um, which I was just not. I mean, I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, but we've seen stuff. That's not the right Pokemon. Um, from like this Lily's Fairy EX, a bunch of stuff here, and a bunch of different cards. But today I'm just going to be taking a quick look, and I'll be taking a look at some of the different decks as well throughout, within the upcoming days and stuff like that, because there are a lot of new decks and cards to talk about. We'll take a look at Hops, and we're also going to take a look at the Ends deck as well today. But we have the Hops deck here first, which there's a few things to look at. Surprisingly, with these lists, they are mostly focused around. Well, I don't know if this is surprising, but they're like really focused around the Hops Zacian EX, which, if you don't know, it does 30 to the active 30 snipe, and then you can do Brave Slash here for 3 metals, and the colorless it cannot attack next turn, and it has 2 retreat cost, 230 HP basic, so nothing crazy stats wise. Then you have our Caledon EX here. This is a list that I think did decently well. All these lists did pretty well in Japanese tournaments. Keep in mind that they're not like massive, but still, a lot of these lists are similar and did well. It definitely looks pretty strong, or like decent at least. Um, and you have Hops Double EX as well, which is a card that I think has been played with it's mostly been played within these like hops focused metal decks. And this one doesn't even play the hops bag card, which actually has synergy here. However, you can use that to gust. This is just like Ocaldon EX, except now it's almost like Dialga V-Star has been replaced with like the hops stuff, except there's not like synergy within the hop stuff. It's kind of weird, but really interesting to see here. Just a bunch of gust and scoop up effects, and yeah, not too much to say about this in terms of the hop stuff, but this is interesting to look at, and I've had to show it off because it is a deck that utilizes the new cards. Then we have this other list here. This one has a bunch of different things. Also, sorry, my I'm still feeling a little under the weather. If I keep pausing, but yeah, you have the hop. A lot of we have the Hops Zacian EX. You have the actual, I'd say, the Hops stuff. We got the Stadium Postwick, the two card Hops Choice Band EX, and we also have Hops Zacian, or no, Hops Snorlax. These all add 30 damage, and Hops Zacian, or no, Hops what's this, Hops Choice Band, reduces attack cost by 1 colorless in addition to increasing the damage, which is kind of crazy. That I'm pretty sure that other list did not have it. Um, yeah, no, it definitely does not, which seems kind of crazy. Hops Zacian EX seems pretty bad without it, to be honest. Like, it does 20 more damage, which I guess is meaningful against some Pokemon, but it's an extra energy, and it does less HP and can't attack next turn. It does have another attack, but regardless, here you're getting good use. It's pretty efficient, solid, or not like insanely efficient, but similar efficiency to our Caledon EX, a little stronger, a little better. You have that first attack. You have Hops Kermit EX as well, which is a really interesting attacking option, which does 120 if your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prizes remaining. This card's been played in a few different lists, including this Ends list, which we'll take a look at. And I expected to see a decent amount of plays, just a one of, or at least some plays, a one of in some different decks. And you can't really attack with Hop Snorlax, or Hop Snorlax. I think it's an okay attacking option. However, you can't accelerate to it here with our Caledon EX. We also see the new supporter card, Iris's Fighting Spirit, saying on play you discard a card to your hand, draw until you have 6 cards in hand. Which honestly, like when I've noticed in Japan's lists, they tend to play cards that are, I'd say, kind of like this, like Warrior's Conviction, um, Zinnia's Resolve, which isn't in standard, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe them. Like discard, draw some, but not like discard a lot, not like discard your whole hand. Just a little more in Japan, I've noticed that. So I don't expect this card to see that much play, but it has seen play in Japan, and yeah, definitely interesting. And this list came first in the tournament, by the way. Then this list is, I'd say, more of a, I don't know if it's more of a hops list. We got um I guess lesser Caledon. It's not too much to say here, but we do actually see Hops Bag. A lot of the other lists were not playing Hops Bag. Hop's Bag says it's like Buddy Buddy Poffin or whatever for Hop's Pokemon. I guess their main attacker is, or the main like Pokemon, the main focus of the deck is Arcaludon EX, and Arcaludon EX is not a Hops Pokemon, and the other like engine cards are also not Hops. There are no engine Hops cards. So yeah, Hops Bag is a card that is just not played that much in these lists so far, but I do think it is pretty good. And Hops Double is on play a Gust, which is quite good. We're on like Evolution a Gust, so that's a card that I feel like makes Hops Bag more versatile and like you definitely do want multiple Hops Pokemon. It's not like, oh, it's just searching for my attackers. No, it's doing a little more than that, but still, really interesting to see here. This next list here is a Metang focused list. And there are two Metang, oh no, one, this is the one Metang list here I got. And I've pre-prepared the Zashi and the Hop stuff, but then I also wanted to take a look at the end stuff. So anyways, the Metang list here, Metang obviously, accelerates mental energies, can accelerate to any type of Pokemon. It's less consistent, and stuff like that. Could theoretically accelerate more as well. But you have the Hopsasha EX again as the main attacker. We have Hop Snorlax, which is that he can attack with. We have 4 Hops Choice Band EXs, or no, 4 Hops Choice Band, which is a card that seems really good. Like playing 4 copies seems quite good, and this is the main attacker, and you really want it on your Pokemon every single time that you're attacking. So playing 4 makes a ton of sense, and 3 of the Stadium, which you can't even search out either. So you can't search out the Hops Choice Band in this list either. But still, it seems really Hops Zacian EX seems like it. I guess it is good enough. I wasn't sure if it was quite good enough and how to get the energy on. I knew there were the options of Metang or Caledon EX, but looks like they are good, at least for now. Keep in mind these cards are probably overplayed because they just came out. Now we have a list here. This one plays Dusknoir and then also plays some of the Hops stuff, including 2 Hops Cramorant. We can control the prize trade better with the Dusknoirs, which is really interesting. We've seen lists like this. It's like a Badoo Dusknoir list with some different things going on with the Hop stuff kind of thrown in there. Hop Assassin EX just to snipe thing, I guess. I'm not actually sure of the use case of this. Maybe it is to actually snipe Badoo. Badoo's a very good card, and it also is a card that can't be protected without Bench Barrier or without Wave Veil on Manaphy. So that could be the use case because it's certainly not for the second attack where you can't attack with that one. Then we've seen a few lists that are ends decks or ends lists as well, which is really focused around ends Zoroark EX. This hasn't been played a ton, but it's been played some. And yeah, we have a few different lists here. This one actually does play in ends Cramorant EX or ends Cramorant. I don't know. I keep adding EX on everything. I'm just so used to all the top Pokemon being EX, and they mostly are, but some of these are not EX. If you don't know, Hops, or no, what's it? Ends Zoroark EX is a Pokemon that says you can discard 1, draw 2, so it's an engine. Yeah, the Iono's deck also has an engine. The of the 4 trainers that are out in this set, and then Hops doesn't, and Lily's doesn't really have one either. Zoroark EX is the best engine. The Iono's engine is fine. You could argue it's better. It's kind of weird. I don't think that deck's super good right now. I actually didn't check if it's been played in Japan. It's been played some. All these decks should, and apparently people are playing it with a Raging Bull. That was not what I was expecting. I was kind of considering that. Regardless, that's for another video. I'm just so excited to like dive into this. But yeah, you can copy for 2 darkness attacks on your benched ends Pokemon. You got ends PP up, which says you accelerate a basic energy from your discard to one of your benched ends Pokemon. Yeah, it's like Dark Patch. We only see 3, which is kind of surprising. We see that the same number of ends PP up here as the Stadium card ends Castle. Which says your ends Pokemon to play have no retreat cost, which is nice because the Endstar Manatan, which I guess is the main attacker you're using, has 3 retreat and just sitting on the bench, and you don't want it in the active. You can use the first attack, and you can use the second attack. That's really interesting. So that's a focus within the deck with the Luxray and the Endstar Manatan, where you can use reversal energy. You discard all energy from this Pokemon, does 90 snipe and 90 to the active, and then your first attack here does for 2 colorless, 30 for each basic energy in your points discard pile. This is kind of like a Radiant Greninja, I guess, replacement. Saying that just seems so weird. Obviously, a big reason of that, like, the main part of that card is the energy discard, but the attack is nice as well. And the sorry, I just like was getting lost thinking about why there was that weird artist super potion. But yeah, and Sarmantian EX's attack is solid. You know, it's like Radiant Greninja. It's not the same thing because that can be the double snipe to the bench, which is really good. But there's no mana fee, so in some ways the stack might actually be better than Radiant Greninja's attack is now, which is decent. It's not like broken or amazing, but it's decent. And the first attack's really good against Serial Edge EX in a few situations. But Zoroark EX is an attacking option. And it's also an engine, which is cool to see. Then you have Ends of Reshiram. I really like this card. I mean, I'm a fan of Reshiram, to be honest, and then so I was guaranteed to like this card like somewhat. But you can do 20 for each damage card on this Pokemon. This Pokemon would be the Enzoric EX. You can do 170 as well, which is fine. Um, I guess it's not like it's not amazing, but it can one shot like Squawkabilly EX, which is nice. And yeah, this just looks like a deck that doesn't have a super strong attacking option, as we've kind of seen from the Ends deck, but it does seem like a deck. Oh wow, I've not looked at these lists. These are not what I was expecting. This one here plays Pecker EX. I guess that actually makes a lot of sense because now you still have Ends Castle, but Pecker EX is searchable and stuff. We see Janine's secret technique to get Darkness Energies on as well. I guess kind of replacing Dark Patch, and we have Monkey Dory. Keep in mind, removing damage from yourselves means you're doing less with Ends of Ashram, but you should be able to control that pretty well. And then there's also Brock's secret training. This is, or no, what? Okay, Brock's scouting. Why was I saying? Um, it might have been Brock's training as another translation, but it's not a secret that I got from Janine's. But he got search a deck for two basic Pokemon or an evolution, put them into your hand, and yeah, this is just like good having two options. You can get it's like a better capture aroma, but obviously it's not an item. It's a decent supporter card though. I wonder how much play it's seen so far. Not that much, but a little bit here and there. And it seems decent. Also, they're playing Pikachu. Okay. This is a list I might cover some other time. That's something. But I keep getting distracted by all these cool lists, these kind of weird lists. But Brock Scouting is a solid supporter, kind of like Iris's whatever, like Spirit or whatever that card was called. And yeah, not too much to say about this deck. I mean, I guess the big thing is you're only attacking with Enzoric EX. I mean, I guess you could attack with Pecker and EX, and that might be actually that's probably bad. That's the same turn you'd attack with Blood Moon or Luna EX, so probably not something you want to do, but you could. Um, yeah, it just seems really interesting. I really want to. I'm excited to play this deck. I'm definitely more excited to play it than the Hops deck. I don't necessarily think it'll be super good. I also saw this list, which is really interesting. So if you don't know, which I bet some of you just like haven't thought about, Curly is rotating. The like Curly that people play that's good. But Enzoric EX has the same abilities, so someone decided to play it just as an engine here. Um, and yeah, that's really interesting. This other list, it's also just an engine. Okay, so this is really interesting. Um, and yeah, I'll take a look at one more end stack, I guess, because um, the other end stacks weren't really end stacks. I mean, the first one and the other one was, but these two are not. They just use it as an engine. You theoretically could attack with it in this deck with ends, with the Roaring Moon EX list, which doesn't have Radiant Greninja and also doesn't have Dark Patch, which is like kind of crazy. You can't do damage, or you could do 20, I guess, copying the Ends Zorua, but that's obviously bad. But it's an engine here, which also has two retreat. Like it seems very mediocre to bad, to be honest, in this stack where it's like a Roaring Moon attack. But we do see it here and in this Gardevoir list, which is really interesting. Again, you can attack with it, and we see the End Stadium as well, but also um, you can't really do damage. You're not attacking with it, but definitely some really interesting stuff here. And this is like replacement someone's decided to try out and use it just as an engine, which I wasn't really expecting to see right off the bat, but I guess we have. And this last deck here also has Black Belt's Training. Oh wait, this card's out. I didn't realize it was out. I guess that I just kind of forgot that. But you do 40 more to EXs, and then you have the one last Ends Pokemon we haven't talked about yet, which is Ends Sigilyph, which says you win the game. if you use attack only when you can only use attack though if your opponent has one prize or if you have one prize remaining. So you're probably about to win the game anyways, but it's like an okay option. Overall, the ends deck and hop stacks look okay. They don't look amazing, but they look okay. I'm really excited to see how they pan out in the metagame once we get them out here internationally as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited to dive into the new set. Obviously, it's not out internationally yet, but it is out in Japan. And yeah, tell me down below in the comments what you think about these cards. Which of these you're most excited to play with? There's so much stuff to dive into with this set. It's a really solid, like dense set. Unlike, let's say this is like better than most of the sets of the past year. Surging Sparks was it's kind of similar actually. I don't think there's so many high-end cards, kind of like Surging Sparks. There are a bunch of decent, pretty good cards. We're just taking a look like Arcaldon, Cerulege is good, things like that, but nothing amazing. And then and then Trap Ghost EX, and that package, really the package that came along with it was amazing outside of Trap Ghost as well. That was amazing from Stellar Crown, but those were two like solid, good sets, but very unique sets from older sets, which generally had like a powerhouse attacker, which we just haven't really seen for a while. This set might not either, but it does have these two, maybe three archetypes. The Lilies deck looks really cool as well, but we'll be covering that one later. But tell me down below what you're most excited for. But I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, all that good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.